Recording?
Yep.
You recording?
Yep.
Okay, good.
We're on.
So we're measuring up a phone here for a phone holder. And if we wanted to take that on as a project or something that has kind of measurements that are critical, this one's pretty easy. We could measure in metric. I've got about 78 millimeters, or in standard, I flip it over and cut to the 0 here, move in real close so everybody's got that. The ruler's got a 0 line there. I'm just over 3 inches with the case. So let's say 3 1/4. It gets tough to read this, 3 1/8, sorry, because that 3 to 4 inch range is broken down into 64ths of an inch. Now that's really small decimals, like 0.0, what did that be? 0.01725 or something, 1700ths. Not a lot. If I try to measure it this way and I go off the 0, it's hard to see again where exactly that is and to pick out those lines. Really difficult to match up, right? So I can use a tool called a caliper, and this tool is digital and it can read in millimeters or inches if I push the button. And what it does is it'll measure between the jaws and tell me in decimal inches how wide the phone is. So this is 0.59. The common number there that we would be closest to is probably 5/8 of an inch. 0.625 would be 5/8 as a fraction, okay? So if we went 5/8, that would be a fairly tight fit. 0.625, there's 0.62. It barely fits on there. So we want to leave what's called some clearance or allowance. We want to give it some breathing room. So 0.75, anybody know what 0.75 is as a fraction?
3/4 of an inch.
Okay, 3/4. And we've got enough room that this can kind of lean back in there at 3/4 of an inch or 0.75. So it gives us an idea of the amount of clearance or allowance that we have for space, okay? We can also use the caliper for larger measurements like this, and it works good to give us a good idea. But 3.05, we measured right on 3 inches, just a little bit larger. We still want to give that a little bit of room so it fits in to a space. So notice that 3.25, that would be 3 1/4 inches. That gives us plenty of room for the phone to fit inside a slot and move around a little bit if it needs to, okay? So these are some critical dimensions or measurements that we can make where a ruler might come up short or long, as in it's just not going to be accurate, to give us a better idea of what size things are exactly, especially if we're going to make something that fits around a specific part. And I will show you that there is also another way to use them, like between centers like this. If we want to measure with the outside jaws, we could measure distance between edges or centers as well. So if you think you have something that applies to this, like a critical measurement that you would need to take, you can see me and we'll get those calipers out and take another measurement. See.